Seconds ago, John Podesta flipped out on Fox and transformed into what he really is. Former Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta got very angry at Fox Business host Maria Bartiromo when she asked him about his own ties to Russia. You gotta watch this interview, it's incredible. Then see the surprise that we have below, supplied by Liberty writers.
Do you find it odd that there's been so much attention on the Trump campaign and the Trump associates and potential collusion with Russians when in fact it's really the Democrats who have deeper and stronger ties to Russia? I mean, John, I've got to ask you about your own situation, your ties to Russian entities. You joined the board of a small energy company in 2011. 2 months later, a Russian entity directly funded by the Kremlin invested $35 million in the company. You were given 75,000 shares in a Russian company, which you failed to disclose when you became an Obama associate.
Maria, that's not true. I fully disclosed and was completely compliant with, and by the way, I divested before I went into the White House.
So where did you divest it, John? A lot of people feel like you divested it to your adult children.
I divested it consistent with the advice that I was given by the White House counsel's office, and I was fully compliant and fully transparent about what I had done. And so the fact that you're picking through my emails that were stolen by the Russians and released by WikiLeaks, and creating a story which is not
hilarious.
True, is
so
something
you
that
weren't
we have to
given
deal with.
75,000 shares of stock in a Russian company? You were not given 75,000 shares?
I didn't have any stock in any Russian company. So go back and get your facts straight, Maria. But
that's not true, John. We know that you own 75,000 shares. You're on the board of Joe.
It's not a Russian company. They own less than 5%.
It's backed by the Kremlin.
I didn't own any shares in that company, Maria.
When you stepped off the board, you were given 75,000 shares from Joe Lee.
That is not true.
How many shares were you given, John?
Maria, I didn't have any shares in any Russian company. I was on the board of an American company that did business here and only here. The Russian company had a small investment in that company, and
well, it's widely reported that it's backed by the Kremlin. It's been widely reported that that company's been backed by the Kremlin, and they gave you 75,000 shares that you had to disclose
when you
went into the Obama administration.
Maria, you can keep leveling this charge. It is not true.
Okay.
They didn't give me anything. They had a small investment in a company I was on the board of. It was a clean energy company that was trying to deal with the issue of trying to produce energy, liquid fuel, from a biotechnology process. It was based in Boston. The Russian company had a very small investment in it, and you can keep saying that they gave me stock, but they didn't.
Widely reported information here, John. There's also Hillary Clinton, obviously.
Maybe you're looking at widely reported information from InfoWars, but it is not true.
This is Politico, this is the New York Times, this is the Wall Street Journal.
No, it's
That's
not.
what I'm looking at, John.
No, it's not.
Then there's Hillary Clinton. Then there's Hillary Clinton, of course, we know, who got $100 million from Russian companies after she allowed that Russian company to acquire 20% of the U.S.'s uranium. So the point I'm making here, John, is that there's much deeper ties to Russia on the Democratic side than there are on the Republican side. And it's just a head scratcher that this has been taking all the oxygen out of the room over Trump, when in fact it's been your team that has been in bed with the Russians.
Fox can do whatever it wants to do on this matter. The truth is
Fox is doing it?
Vladimir Putin, at his direction, according to 17 U.S. intelligence agencies, interfered with the U.S. election to help elect Donald Trump.
Really?
Why was that? That was because Donald Trump had adopted Vladimir Putin's foreign policy, lock, stock, and barrel. He was out on the campaign trail saying that NATO was obsolete. He was trying to make excuses for their intervention in Ukraine. He was talking about eliminating sanctions on Russia because of their intervention and their takeover of Crimea. And so, you could blow a lot of smoke, Maria, but the truth is Vladimir Putin interfered in the U.S. election, and I'm surprised you're not concerned about that the Russians would hack the whether it's Republicans or Democrats, that they would hack into, commit crimes in the United States, and then work with WikiLeaks to damage our campaign.
I am concerned about it, but I know that Russia meddling goes back decades, and I know that when we go to Russia, when Condi Rice used to go to Russia, they would put her in the same exact hotel room, in the same place every year when she would go there, so that they could spy on her. The same thing happens in China, and I know that the U.S. does the same thing. So this is not a new story. But the whole idea that there was any collusion with Trump that's where the narrative and the charade is, because everybody knows Russia's trying to undermine the U.S., has been for years. That's not a new story. The story that the Democrats have been riding and this Trump collusion is simply not true, and we have no evidence of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bartiromo asked why the media doesn't pay attention to Democrat ties to Russia. Very, very good question. It's a fair question. There are many instances of Hillary Clinton specifically making deals with Russia. You're picking through my emails that were stolen by the Russians and released by WikiLeaks and creating a story that isn't true. Podesta said that's not true. Here is the Podesta surprise. Podesta sat on the board of Jolie, which is an American company that got investments from Russians, according to Breitbart. The company received $35 million from a Putin government fund. This happened when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State under Obama. Maybe you're looking at widely reported information from InfoWars, Podesta sneered at the end of that interview. Well, look, you're talking to the wrong guy, Podesta continued, turning the conversation back to President Donald Trump. You should be talking to his people about whether they colluded. Share this if you think that John Podesta needs to tell the truth about him and Russia. Get this out there. Let's drain the swamp. I mean, how he could do that with a straight face, you know? But this man is totally corrupt and evil. And hopefully someday he will get caught. He's coming in to talk about, they're questioning him. What are they questioning him on? He's corrupt. They're talking about Russian collusion. Get this guy locked up. That's all I have to say. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.